Hey, what's going on, everybody? I wanted to make a video about the stuff that's been going on lately in the news media. Obviously, there's been a couple deaths related to police and stuff like that. There's been some riots and stuff like that going on too. So I just been wrestling with my thoughts for the past week or so, and I kind of just want to make a video because I've kind of had enough of hearing about people dying, no matter what race you are. Obviously, anytime someone is killed by a police officer, they're a black person, but that's all the news puts out. Is like when black people are killed, they'll put it on the news. I just kind of wanted to make this video about these couple topics that I kind of want to touch on. I'm not speaking for anything else except for what I'm going to be talking about in this video, because you could talk about this stuff for forever. And there's a lot of stuff that has to be covered. But for the sake of the length of the video, I just kind of want to touch on these couple things, put some thoughts into your head, and hopefully help people make better decisions as time goes on. This list is kind of what the BLM movement won't tell you. And I say this because every time a person of color passes away, or I won't even say passes away, but gets killed by a police officer, like there's always riots, and then obviously people are hurting and they just want their family back, or their loved one back. But I don't know, it just seems like no one's really addressing one of the crucial issues that would save black people's lives. So the first thing that I have on here is to comply with the police officer. And a lot of people aren't going to like that, but I mean, why would you not like that? You're going to save a life. I kind of feel like a lot of people have a dignity issue when it comes to complying with the police. It doesn't necessarily mean that, like, since you're complying, like you're just being this slave to the police officer or whatever, but you're just making things easier for yourself. You're making things easier for the officer. One of the things I was taught when I got my CPL class was that when a cop pulls you over, they're going to know that you have a firearm prior to coming up to your window. So, but you have to let them know that it's on your person. If it is on your person, sorry if I kind of mix that up, but, so that's an example of easing the situation. There's officers out there that are going to do things wrong. They may say some things that are wrong, but you have to think for yourself and you have to think for the officer as well, because the officer is not always going to be on their A game. They could be a bad apple officer, and they're human. They make mistakes too. So it's best for us to just kind of deal with the situation as calmly and safely as possible, because the officer is going into the situation thinking about themselves and their lives, not necessarily yours. So I think you should hold yourself accountable for your own life, and the sake of the officer's safety. So the second thing I have on here is to stay level-headed. And what I mean by that is, even if the officer might escalate the situation, you have to stay calm. I know that can be probably a challenge for some people, but you have to do it. Because if, you're dealing with a situation and everybody's acting crazy, then you're going to have a crazy outcome. But if at least one person can be calm and, take lead of the situation, then things can go a lot better. So complying with the police officer and stay level-headed can go a long way. And again, this video is just for these topics. I already know, there's some other things a police officer should be able to keep a calm head and stuff like that. all these other things that you guys are saying while I'm probably saying this stuff. I understand that, but obviously, like, these are things we know that, police officers should be able to do, but I've been watching people getting killed since I was 12, and I'm going on 23. So why are we still waiting on the police officers to change when we could just easily do things ourselves to save our lives and save, our brothers and sisters' lives of whatever color at a traffic stop or whatever when they're dealing with police? Why are you waiting on them to do it when you could just do it yourself? So third thing is, if you truly didn't do anything wrong, take it up in court. So as I was writing this one, I actually realized, like, not everybody has the money to take something to court, because obviously you need a lawyer for court, and lawyers are expensive. But, so I kind of wrestled with this one, but, I don't really know how that would go financially for some people. But I mean, if you truly didn't do anything wrong, and you do take it to court, I do think it'd be easier to fight the case, simply because, you did nothing wrong, and then you would have the evidence. Granted, the officer had his body cam on and stuff like that during whatever happened, but you would have the evidence to testify with that. So that will help you. And if you didn't do anything wrong, I mean, you can comply. And if they treat you right, you're going to go on about your day. If they treat you wrong, then you'll go to jail for a day or whatever, or a couple hours or whatever, and then they'll let you out, and then you take it to court. To me, it just does not make sense to, why would you put yourself in jeopardy and then increase the chances of something bad happening at the traffic stop? So the fourth thing is, if you did something wrong, take it like an adult. So this is kind of for my people who did violate something, or you might have warrants or something like that. And it could be, a warrant for, let's say, like marijuana, okay? In my view, if you have a warrant for marijuana, you're not really a criminal. But that's just me. But, as far as the law goes, you have that on you, so whatever. And some cops are going to profile. So you have to look at that too. So even if it is something like that, that might be minor to me and you, it could be something that they'll use against you for someone else, right? So, always still comply. And like I said, if you did something you weren't supposed to do, just comply. Don't try and bring up what your rights are and stuff like that, because sure, you may know your rights, but you talking to the law. And what I mean by that is, right there in that situation, they are the deciding factor. Like, there is no court that's going to come pull up to your car and stuff like that to make an ultimate decision. That police officer is going to be the law for that time being. So why wrestle with it? I just think you kind of digging a hole for yourself, save your life, right? Fifth thing is, know your rights and how to go about using them. So yeah, I think it's very important to know your rights, even though, if you get stopped or something and our officer wants to manipulate things or whatever, and, you might be within your rights or whatever, and he might be abusing his power. I think it's important that, still just comply, because we don't want you losing your life. And that's kind of what this video is about, is just conserving as much life as we can instead of losing it. Because, every time I look in the news or whatever, someone's killed, they always trying to argue with the police. And obviously, people, that's not working. Excuse me. Know how to go about using them. But, even if the police officer is still trying to take advantage, just still comply, right? Because they'll get in trouble for it once you get out and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make this video. That was, 5 points on what Black Lives Matter won't tell you. Black Lives Matter, like, it's always to the streets, let's protest. But they're not really informing the their audience on what you should be doing. Because, like, I mean, you take someone like famous that's African American or whatever, and they get pulled over by the cops, right? They're not gonna jeopardize their career, right? They gonna comply with the police. They're not gonna fight or whatever. Um, they gonna go about whatever they had to do in that traffic stop, and then if they end up in jail, then they get out, and then they'll sue. I mean, as simple as that. Why do you want to lose your life? You know. So, like I said, those are 5 points. Just want to make it short and sweet, and I hope this saves some lives. I hope you guys really think on this. Because this is actually one way that we can stop people from losing their life, no matter who they are. So much love, guys. Take care and stay safe out there.